Hello, this is Tim DeLeon from Focus First, and this short tutorial is on how to add graphics to your visual pricing charts. Here's a sample of what I'm referring to. This is a good example of a time to sell chart. Additionally, I've placed an oval on this chart to emphasize a key pattern where homes have sold. You can add graphics to any of the visual pricing charts. While this is a good example of a graphic on a time to sell chart, generally I create graphics on my scattergrams. So let's show you how to do that on the Mac. If you have a PC, we have a comparable video which will show you what we're doing here and how to do that on a PC. So let's bring up the scattergram that we've been working on. Here it is. We have some data points and we have some text boxes. This was all created with the standard create scattergram process. So first of all, to add graphics to your chart, you need to bring up the shape toolbox. The shape toolbox has all the tools necessary to enable you to add several kinds of shapes you may want. To access the Shape toolbox, go to the top menu under the Insert menu item, select Picture, and you will see it expand, and then select Shape. Once you do that, you will see the Shape toolbox. Notice that you must have the chart selected first. For example, if I select outside the chart, and then look at Insert Picture, everything is grayed out. To get the picture option back, all I need to do is select the chart, and as you can see, all my options are still there. So be sure to have the chart selected. Once you have the Shape toolbox up, you will see that there's lots of things that you can add. Be careful of adding too many objects. You don't want to get your customer confused or distracted with all the wild stuff that you can do. I will generally add text boxes, arrows, or sometimes just lines. So right now, let's just add a box. Notice when I added the box, it's filled in. Once you add a box, you can then change the characteristics if you choose. To make changes, select the item, then right-click and select Format Shape option. You now see the Format Shape dialog box. Here you can change the fill color or set the parameters so that there is no fill. Let's do that. And then you can select the color for the line along with the width of the line. There's lots of fun stuff you can do, and I'll let you play with the different objects so you can see what's possible. Okay, if you want to move the box, you can do that. Just select the box and position the cursor near the edge, not near the corner, where you see 4 arrows, and then you can move it. Of course, if you want to resize the box, you can easily do that. Just go to the corner where you see 2 arrows and drag the edge, and then you can resize the box. This pretty much just works the same way with all the different shapes. Take some time to play with the different shapes. If you don't like what you see, you can just delete it by selecting the object as we have here and then pressing the delete key. Adding text can also be fun. Let me show you how to do that. To add text, I usually like to add text in a box. Of course, as you'll find out when you play with the tools, you can add text to just about any of the objects. Once you have text in an object, you will usually want to change the characteristics of that object to hold that text much better. So let's add some text. Now, just as before, I select the object and then right-click and select Format Shape. Now for text boxes, I will generally select the solid fill to be white. So let's do that. I can also select no fill and make the box transparent if I wish. Then I will select the line. And I like to make the line a color that matches other objects on the graph to show the correlation. For example, if I'm creating a text box associated with an under contract box, I'll make the text box black. You can see we have that set. One more feature characteristic that I think is important for text boxes is I like to set the Reshape to Fit text option, and that's located under the text box. Okay, let's do that. Now one last thing, I can't see any text anymore because the text was originally white. Let's go to Home. We've selected the text box. Let's go ahead and select everything on there. And let's change the color to black. Or I can change it to red if I want. I can set it to bold. And if I want to, I can even center the text. Now, because auto size is on, if I change the shape of this box, you can see my text is changed as well. Let me make one more point that might help you, and that's the concept of layering. The order of the object you place in the graph is based on when you create that object. Each time you create an object, it's placed on the top. Now, there will be cases where you want an object that you just created to be at the bottom, or maybe just be on a lower layer. For example, here's a set of data points, and I've created text boxes. Now let's add a line. Notice that since I just created the line, it's on the top, but I don't really want it to be on the top. I'd prefer that it was behind these text boxes. If you select the item and right-click, you will find an Arrange option. That will let you move the object backwards or forward one layer, or what I usually use is just to move it all the way back. There you go. That's all I want. Now let's take a look at this chart. Now what I've done on this chart is to show the history of the various models that the builder has completed and what they sold for. Notice that on this chart each model is represented in a different color. So how did I do that? Let me show you. First of all, I created a scattergram chart the way you normally would. That is, I selected data points and used the create scattergram function in the visual pricing system. I also added text boxes for each data point. Then I went to the detailed MLS sheet to determine each model. Since there were newer properties, that information was available. Once I figured out what the model was, I set the color to match the model. Now I can also change the attributes of each data point. If I click once on a data point, all the data points are selected and I can change the attributes of all the data series at one time. If I click a second time, just that one data point is selected. Okay, so now I can right-click on that data point. Let's choose the Format Data option. And I can now make changes to the characteristics of that single data point. I'm sure you'll have lots of fun playing with these options. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to watch some of our other videos. And don't forget to press the like button below.